This episode of Tekzilla is brought to you by The Ben Heck Show. We got Head 5's Jude Mansilla on Skype to talk about all the great earbuds and headphones that hit at CES. Jude, welcome to the show, man. Where should we start?
Well, I mean, I want to start. There's just so much to see as far as headphones go. And today we have mostly over-ears because there were so many new over-ears introduced, a lot of in-ears too. But, I mean, let's start with best sound to show.
Sennheiser HD700, I bet.
Sennheiser HD700, you're right. So the Sennheiser HD700 is $1,000, so it's $500 less than their flagship 800, which is right here. But it approaches the performance of the 800. It's easier to drive, and I think it's a great headphone for $1,000. That's the best sound of the show overall to me, is the HD700.
I also want to point out, in case my wife is watching, that you actually have like 3 times the number of headphones and earbuds than I do. I think all of which are in the background picture of you right now.
Yeah. You should see our cabinet. So there's even more, and they're all over the place here, all over the place.
Oh my goodness! Tell me about Amperior.
Amperior. That is sort of an evolution of the HD25 line, and it's easier to drive than any HD25 I've heard, and it also sounds better. So it's easily driven by your iPhone. It's $350. This is a killer headphone. These are aluminum, machined aluminum ear cups, so they're not just stamped aluminum. So if I was to take this apart and flip it upside down, you can see inside the cup it's all machined out from a solid disc of aluminum. This is a really solidly built headphone. The Amperior, I think, is going to be a real huge hit on Head-Fi.
When you get something, when you say, like you just said, you go from a stamped cup to a machined cup, that includes a rigidity. How does that impact the sound of the headphone?
Well, I think the goal is always to try to control the resonance, and I have to imagine it's going to help there. That's a pretty rigid. That would be a pretty rigid cup. I wish I could show you the inside. I'm not as good at taking it apart as the guy at Sennheiser was, but you can see how well they've machined it inside. And again, it's from a solid disc of aluminum. It's a real solid inert chassis.
One more from Sennheiser before we move on. The RS220. What's the story?
Right here. Yeah, had to mention that. This to me would be maybe the product of the show. I called it last year, product of the year 2011. I didn't realize it wasn't going to come out till 2012, so I called it a bit early. But this is ridiculous because it shows you what's possible wirelessly. It is far and away the best sounding wireless headphone I've ever heard. Nothing's come close yet, not even by Sennheiser. Sounds like a wireless HD600.
Wow.
It's $599. I've been using it for quite a while, and this thing is sick. This would be my favorite headphone of the show in terms of new product introductions.
How long?
So,
oops, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I was just saying I love the RS220.
How long are you getting for battery life off of the headphones, the RS220s?
You know, I've never used it for more than 6 hours at a time or thereabouts. And so it hadn't died on me then, so I would assume 6, 8, I don't know, it might be even more, 10. I'm not sure exactly what it's rated for, though.
Longer than most people are going to be sitting in the couch, probably.
Yeah, but the cool thing is it also uses a AAA cell rechargeable battery, so it's not some proprietary battery that you know, you have to charge to use. It's a standard AAA rechargeable.
Smart. Hey, a bit of a surprise. Philips was at the show. That's not the surprise, but they actually had some headphones that were impressive because Philips is kind of, most of the, I think of like $12 earbuds behind the rack at the local drugstore. What's going on with the Fidelio lineup?
Yeah, we have, in over 10 years on Head-Fi, have essentially had no dialogue about Philips headphones. And then this year they come to market with 2 lines that I was really, really impressed with. One of them is around my neck here. This is the Philips Fidelio L1. It's $300 and it's their flagship. And if you could see how this thing is built, I don't know if you had a chance to handle it. Anywhere you touch on it, you're essentially touching aluminum or leather. And it sounds really good. Kind of a warmish sound, nice full bass, but it's resolving too. Good sound staging. Excellent headphone for $300. It's a really worthy flagship for Philips. And I mean, you can see it's just a beautiful looking headphone. And that's the Fidelio L1. But the one that they had, I think, that impressed me the most was this one here. It's called the Cityscape Downtown, and it's only $100. And it sounds ridiculous good. I prefer the Fidelio, but this, again, is $300. For $100, I would call this one, and I didn't hear every headphone at the show, but I heard a lot of headphones at the show. This is best value.
Really?
That's an easy call. Yeah. Tyle Hertzens at Inner Fidelity also called it best value. We agreed on this one. $100, fantastic headphone. And so I'm really surprised. I haven't even heard everything. I have, I think, just about everything they released at CES, but I haven't even heard everything yet because I was sick last week. My ears were stuffy. But but this one is really impressive, and my easy call so far for best value.
That's a pretty. I'd say it's surprising to see Philips it's surprising to see Philips suddenly paying attention to headphones for a change.
Yeah, they've been, like you said, they've been making them for a long time. Obviously a big company. Yeah, I didn't even know about the Cityscape line until CES. I knew about the Fidelia line, but not the Cityscape. So this was a huge surprise for me.
Speaking of surprise for me, V-Moda, very stylish. They do like a True Blood custom plate version. The M80s and the LP2, very solid sounding. I was impressed.
Yes, exceptional. They've really made, especially the M80, and the V80 is the True Blood version of the M80, on head-fi has been immensely popular. So it's already kind of earned its way into the collective psyche of head-fi as one of the top 3 or one of the top over-ear portable headphones, along with the likes of the HD25, the Beyer DT1350, and they announced a white one. So for some people that might be a big deal. I wore this around Vegas for a while and got a lot of questions about what it was. So this is the white M80, so you can expect to see this, I guess, relatively soon. But the M80 has probably the most audiophile type sound signature of all the V-Moda headphones. And
the LP2's a little more sort of DJS, a little more presence in the lower end. I mean, I got to say, I was surprised. Both of these easy to drive. You don't need an amplifier to get some kick out of them. The low end was very clean. And it's unusual because usually when you see a headphone that is stylish, it sounds like crud. These sound really good.
Yes. The V-Modas are he's really done, Val Colton, the CEO of V-Moda, has really done a nice job evolving his line and focusing on sound really in the last few years. And like I say, a couple of his newer models, the M80, the LP2, are doing really well in the head-fi community. And for those not familiar with head-fi, it's kind of an audiophile type community. So we focus on sound first. Everything else is just, if it looks good, that's just gravy. But we always focus on sound first, and headfires will go out looking like complete idiots with gigantic, crazy-looking headphones. But the V-Modas are stylish, which is really nice bonus. And again, they sound fantastic. So they've been doing real well on head-fi lately. So that's good to see.
We've got a minute or two left before we got to split. Sonomax, both you and I were very surprised. The device that custom molds the earplugs on the fly. Sonomax Ears, EERS is the name of that.
Yeah, I wish I had mine here. I wanted to bring. I misplaced the part that inflates, or maybe I left it at CES. The part that inflates the custom earpieces in your ears. You and I were there together. They shot them. I have them here somewhere. I apologize. In all these headphones.
Well, they're little black earbuds. They're not going to look that good on Skype anyway. You're going to be holding a little black spot on the end of your finger.
Yeah, they look like earbuds, like normal earbuds, but they have little tips on them that are custom fit to your ears, and it's a real cool system because you do it at home. So it takes 5 minutes, shoots the impressions into your ear, and that is actually the earpiece itself. Then you peel them out, and then you've got custom earbuds, and they sound good. So. The price point on those, I think it was $199 on those. Yeah, those were exceptionally good for and cool and novel to do your own customs, because I think customs are going to get more and more popular over time.
Well, they're basically customs. They give you the nice tight fit that helps sort of enclose the audio environment inside your ear. Should we?
Right.
I mean, Westone, JH Audio, Ultimate Ears, Monster's new stuff, Skullcandy. What's the biggest thing we should hit out of all those? Because otherwise we'll be talking for like 25 minutes.
well, yeah, we could go on forever. So you mean of those companies? Well, there's no one of the biggest stories of CES period was the Monster Beats breakup. So that we can't really ignore that one. That was a huge story. I was surprised that it broke when it did. I think anybody that went to the press event knew that Monster was going to be on their own at some point, because that's all they showed was Monster branded products.
Right.
But I heard this is the new diamond tiers. You can see how outrageous looking that is. I actually did wear this around for a day, and I've never been asked more about a headphone than this one.
How did they sound?
Okay, so this one is a prototype, but I think they call it the Gold Soundmaster, which is the final tuning, and it sounded like surprisingly good, like exceptionally good actually. And I was surprised at how good they were, because they really focus more on the looks. Right. But I actually think Monster has a chance here to do really well away, in the sort of post Beats era, because even while they were with Beats, their best sounding headphone was actually a Monster branded in-ear called the Turbine Pro.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling, kind of on their own, away from Beats, they're going to release some cool stuff. And based on what I heard, the only final master I heard was the Diamond Tears, and it was surprising, like real good
and very stylish.
Even at $280, I would recommend it. So if they can get the DNA from that Soundmaster to their production units, they've got a huge winner on their hands. Of course, then you got to decide whether or not you like that styling or not. I dig it. You know, it's not really my style, but it certainly is flashy. And
it's not subtle. But then again, Monster doesn't really do subtle.
No, I wore it around my neck like this, and I swear to you, I'd never been asked more about a headphone than this one, but it was all positive responses.
Huh. Skullcandy finally starting to pay attention to what the headphones sound like and not just what they look like.
Yeah, so they hired a guy named Tetsuro Ishii, a reputed acoustic engineer. I've been to their headquarters, and they've got like a extensive lab and testing facilities. So they're doing all the acoustics in-house now. And the results are actually good. The Skullcandy Mixmaster mic, which is back there on that box, is a good headphone, $300. The Aviator's a good headphone, and they just released the Hesh 2. I think we're going to be seeing better headphones and hearing better headphones coming from Skullcandy. In fact, I have no doubt about it. So I'm going to be watching them a lot in 2012. And already people on Head5, whereas previously they never talked about Skullcandy. It was almost like hidden. Now we're talking about their products. They're part of the dialogue.
Folks, we are out of time. There is a ton of good stuff up at head-fi.org. It's an amazing website. All of their CES coverage there. Jude, where's CanJam this year? For people who didn't see our CanJam segment a couple years ago, CanJam is an awesome gathering of headphone enthusiasts and headphone manufacturers. We can go out and sample the latest stuff. Where's CanJam this year, Jude?
Well, for sure we're going to have it in Denver in October in conjunction with Rocky Mountain Audio Fest.
Nice.
But anytime throughout the year, you can find on Head5's Meet forums, Meet's probably local to you. So we're going to be doing one in Metro Detroit here, which is where my office is, in the next month. And then we're trying to plan one right now, a really cool one for SoCal. So no details on that yet, and we're hoping to get that together for late February. Hopefully you can make it out if we do it out there. But yeah, so there's meets everywhere all the time, all over the world, really.
Cool.
So check the Head5 Meet forums out.
Jude, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
It was a pleasure. Hey, more Tekzilla coming right up. Before we do that, let's take a moment to thank one of our sponsors. Join modding wizard Ben Heck and friends as they build and modify a host of amazing community-inspired creations. In the latest episode of the Ben Heck Show, during the lazy video game and football months of winter, Ben builds a device to promote even more laziness. Brace yourselves, people. It's a controller-mounted hot pocket dispenser. Hey, stay tuned at element14.com/TBHS to find out how you can enter to win Ben's Hot Pocket Dispenser as well as the latest builds from his show. And be sure to watch new episodes of The Ben Heck Show every 2 weeks right here at revision3.com/TBHS.